Hey BookTube, time for one of those updates where I talk about what I've been reading. Okay, here we go. So recently I read The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, book 1 of the Lightbringer series. I don't think there was any particular reason I chose this to read. I saw the synopsis and I decided to read it. So let's start with a bit of a summary. This is a fantasy novel with magic and stuff, set 15 years after a bit of a war known as the False Prisms War, and as a result of that, the Prism had a illegitimate child. That child and the Prism are the two main characters in this book. The Prism being a sort of Pope-like character, head of the religion, which also happens to be the magic system in this book. And he's like an all-powerful wizard, but quite a benevolent one. And his illegitimate child, who he didn't know about till the events of this book, grew up the son of a drug addict, prostitute, effectively, in the middle of nowhere. That child, though, called Kip, is kind of the hero of this book. While he's not doing so much of the heroic stuff as his father, Gavin Guile, the Prism, he's really trying, you know? So Kip is a wizard as well, with no magical experience. So he's finding his feet with the whole magic stuff. And he's fat. That's quite a theme of his character. He's being bullied through a lot of his life, for various things. Being fat, being a bastard child of a drug addict mother, and, well, he has no obvious skills coming into the book. And that all shows through in his character. He's got a real lack of confidence, but he's a very determined character. He sees his strength as putting up with stuff, willing to take punishment. Whether anyone else considers that a strength or not, it's not important to him, which is, good for him. But life doesn't go particularly well for Kip. Rubbish though his life has been, it then all takes a worse turn when everyone in his village is massacred, including his mother and all of his friends. Not a brilliant day for him. Also happens to be the same day he meets his father for the first time, and discovers who his father is. The richest, most powerful man in the world, it turns out. Sets him off on a bit of an adventure as he seeks a new life for himself. Seeks revenge for his murdered village and mother. Quite a lot going on in the early part of this book, to be fair. And maybe that was a bit of a criticism I had at the start, was the world building is all done very quickly. But, with a fantasy book, there is quite a lot of world building to do, so maybe that is inevitable. The magic system in this involves colours. Colours of light. Each colour of light has a set of wizards attuned to it who can do various things with that light. And the Prism can use all of the colours of light, which is why he's very powerful. Wasn't sure what I thought of that magic system at first. I didn't particularly warm to it very quickly, but warm to it I did, eventually. What I thought seemed a somewhat weak magic system, actually, as it was built upon, firmed up very nicely. And I think I ended up really quite liking it. Other than Kip and Gavin Guile, the Prism, there are two other point of view characters in this. Caris, one of the Prism's bodyguards, stroke ex-fiancé, who is a bit of a badass warrior, and also Liv, who is one of Kip's childhood friends, who went off to a magical university a couple of years ago, so wasn't in the village at the time of the massacre. Those are two more minor point of view characters, the main ones being Kip and Gavin Guile. I quite like all of the point of view characters in this book. That worked quite well. There weren't really any chapters where I was kind of wishing to be back with a different point of view character, which can be a symptom of books that have lots of point of view characters. I felt like 4 was quite a good number, actually. Enough to give quite a wide breadth of view across this world, but not so many that you get bored or lost. The events build up nicely throughout this book to quite a good climactic battle-style event towards the end. There is a lot of other intrigues in this book. Historical plots and secrets coming out throughout as you progress through the chapters. All worked very nicely, to the extent that while it was a book that I didn't actually warm to particularly quickly, by the end of it I was utterly convinced. This is a 4.5, maybe even 5-star book read for me. The discussion of the magic system is one I actually wish to continue, but maybe worthy of its own video discussing magic systems in fantasy books in general. Yeah, I might do that soon. Based on one book, and one book alone so far, I would recommend Mr. Brent Weeks and his fantasy novels. I will be reading book 2 called The Blinding Knife quite soon, I suspect. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment if you've read these books or have any other fantasy books to recommend to me. Bye.